Hey friend, welcome back to the Halfway to Dead mini edition. It's time to hit you with some wellness wisdom today. Guys, we have to take care of our aging mind and body so we can finish this life strong. Are you ready? Okay, jump in. Ride shotgun with me as we continue on this midlife spiritual journey together. Okay, you guys, hey, welcome back to our little Monday mini microdose episode. And so Sue Schneider is back with us. And so tell us what we're going to go over today, because you have a really great tip for, or technique, should I say, for healthy aging.
Yeah, and I'd love to say the idea is we embed this in the lifestyle, but it's really about mindful movement. It's really about making a practice of mindfully walking, ideally in nature, every single day.
Yes, getting outside. Yep.
So here's the thing, is that we know movement is incredibly important. Mm-hmm. And we know that spending time in nature is incredibly important. There is so much research on this. In fact, people have been researching this for a really long time. In 2013, the American Public Health Association released a policy statement on nature and its associated health improvements, saying access to nature has been related to lower levels of mortality and illness.
Love that.
Restoration from stress. Who wouldn't want that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A greater sense of well-being, higher levels of outdoor physical activity.
Okay.
We have since learned a ton about how it improves cognitive functions, brain activity, and in midlife, we're starting to notice things are shifting a little bit.
Yep, we do this.
Blood pressure, it improves our sleep. There was research done in 2019 that examined the impacts of nature exposure. So this was 2 hours in a natural area a week for 6 weeks, 2 hours a week, on adults diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And participants were provided opportunities for guided activities, including mindful walks and bird watching, to provoke interactions with nature. At the completion of the program, the researchers found participants had statistically significant greater mental well-being and positive affect, less anxiety and negative affect, and less perceived stress.
Oh. All right.
Which is pretty powerful, right? Less perceived stress. So, and again, let's just make this point that the stress can be happening in our lives, but if we're not reacting to it and we're perceiving that it's okay, that it's, that we're okay, that actually positively impacts our health. Yeah. Yeah.
Because stress will kill us. Really. Because stress will kill us if we...
Stress is a killer. So 75 to 90% of doctors' visits are actually related to stress. All of these symptoms that come up that we would never connect with stress are actually related to stress, right?
I agree. Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we get at the source of the problem? Not treat the symptom of stress, but how do we get at the source of it? We try to lower our perceived stress or our experience of stress, right?
Okay. So to clarify, this is mindful walking. Does it have to be outside? You cannot get on a treadmill for this. Tell me about that.
No. And I also want to say, I want to acknowledge, first of all, that not everyone has access to green spaces and outdoor things.
Yes.
And that it has been found that mindful walking in nature and walking in urban spaces or other areas can also bring additional mental health benefits. So I'm emphasizing the mindful walking in nature because that's like on steroids, but to be able to take the time to move.
You're still going to get benefits if you're walking around in your city, if you're
city, on your street, in your mall when it gets too hot. I know my mom and stepdad walk in the mall because
the mall walkers. Yeah.
It gets too hot and they can't walk outside. And so the point is, and it's not just the movement. So here's where I want to make a distinction between walking. Walking is amazing. So if you can walk please just walk. But with mindful walking, we are bringing awareness to two levels of things. We're bringing awareness to what's happening externally.
Okay.
We can tune in to the wind. When's the last time you felt like, oh gosh, the wind's blowing on me?
Yeah, paying attention. Yep.
Paying attention. The smells, even if, walking by a trash can, oh, notice that. We could be neutral about it. But the flowers are coming out, the pollen's coming out, the smells of the trees, paying attention to the sun on our bodies, or just the general temperature, attuning to our environment.
Okay. So really tapping into all of our senses.
All of our senses. It is a way for us to get present, truly present. So we can bring awareness to our external environment, but we can also bring awareness to our internal environment. So maybe my intention is I'm going to do this kind of mindful walking. I'm moving my body, which is goal number one, but I'm also needing to just see where the heck I am. I've been running today. And so I'm feeling, I'm moving and I'm feeling my tension, or I'm feeling some excitement or joy, or I'm feeling the weight of something and I don't know what that is. And I'm just noticing and kind of naming that, right? But I'm attuning to my body, right? And I want to make a distinction here because we're not analyzing. This is a distinction between mindfulness and what we do the rest of our days.
Yeah. What's the difference?
We're not noticing our thoughts and then getting into the stories of them. We're not indulging ourselves in the top 10 tunes, the stories that we replay again and again.
And we're not rehashing like an argument from start to finish.
No.
We're focusing on the feeling that gave us. Is that right?
We are. We're noticing what's happening in our bodies. We're noticing what's coming up. So if it's the argument that's coming up, we can say, oh, there's the argument. Welcome. You're welcome here. That's fine. I'm not going to get into you. What's happening in my body with this? And just pay attention, right? When a thought comes up, we ask ourselves, do I really need to entertain this thought? Another technique when a thought comes up and we're doing this walking practice is, just breathing into the thought. Oh, that was a tough one, just taking a deep breath with it. And I like this one, but sometimes I'll just be like, thank you, thought. I'm okay. I'm not needing this right now. Thank you though. Thanks for trying to take care of me or remind me of something. Thank you. And letting it just be what it wants to be.
Sounds like super sweet and nice, but sometimes it's hard because we get a thought in our head that was a difficult time for us or something that happened.
Yeah.
And so it takes a minute for you to be able to go, oh, okay, thanks for bringing that back up. But no, thank you. Not today.
Thank you. No.
I'm going to move on to other thoughts. Yeah.
Right. And we're not pushing it away. We're not saying you're not important. We're acknowledging its presence, but we're saying, I don't really need to do that. Right. And what can happen when we're aware of this internal process is we can find a little bit of calming action happen, and then we can reattune to the external environment. That's the beauty of walking outside, is then we can kind of be able to flip our attention and just open up again. Oh, that wind. That feels really good.
Yeah, the sun on my skin, the birds chirping, all the things we never pay attention to. Yeah.
So I recognize that exercise is tough for a lot of people. You have to make it a daily habit. And this is not saying, oh my gosh, if you don't get out and move and also bring mindfulness, you will not be healthy. But I will say that starting a habit by starting really small and setting an intention of every day, even if it's cold, maybe not if it's pouring or snowing or whatever,
right.
I'm going to walk down the street mindfully, right? I'm going to just walk down the street and I'm going to tune in and I'm going to notice one thing. There's a flower popping up or the leaves are starting to fall. I noticed, just in my walk this morning, even though we've had abnormally warm weather for, the time of year that this is, whoa, there was a tree that the leaves changed to orange and it was like out of nowhere, right? That was just an amazing moment. I got to have that moment because I was moving and just noticing what was around me, right?
Yeah. So does the research show How often we need to do this for it to be effective? Or how far we have to go? Because are you saying, like, we don't need to do that whole mile is what I'm hearing.
We don't need to do that whole mile.
You could just take a walk up the sidewalk,
Up
back
the street,
home, and that's
back
enough.
home.
It's about how you spend that time.
It's about
Being
it's about the
attention.
quality.
Okay. So
time.
does the research show that there's a minimum amount of times we need to do that? Or I know you said 2 hours a week was in the research, but like, is that divided like so many minutes a day? Or did people just do a couple hours?
For that particular study, it was 2 hours a week. And I think people would be divided on like how much is optimal. But I think what's really important is where we get stuck is when we set these goals and say, oh, it's, the research says that I'm supposed to be walking a mile a day. Yeah. And this is really starting with where we are, because the biggest deal killer for behavior change is actually setting the goal even a smidge too big. Because once you don't meet it, it beats your confidence down. And the most important thing about behavior change is shifting the confidence, moving the confidence needle up. Yeah. And so it's like, from an individual standpoint, okay, what is workable for me? The amount of time I have, the amount of strength and energy, like, am I really fatigued these days, or am I dealing with some illness or pain? And setting a very, very manageable goal. But what you were saying is absolutely right. It is the quality of the time spent. And no matter what, this breaks our sedentary nature. We are in a crisis of lifestyle. Our diseases are diseases of lifestyle.
We're sitting around a lot now. Yeah, we're binging our shows. We're scrolling on our phones.
Right.
Yeah, we're not moving like we used to.
No. Yeah. So if it's I know I'm going to take 7 minutes and scroll through Instagram, I'm going to instead use that 7 minutes for my mindful walk. That's it right there. And it's easy to increase that because it's enjoyable. It is completely enjoyable.
Yeah. So because we're not talking about you guys out there starting training for a marathon. No. That's not what this is. No. So you can, this is mindful walking, means you walk at whatever pace is comfortable for you. Yes. And the key to it. So then the key to it is the mindfulness aspect of the walk you take. And so one more time for everyone so they can practice this. What's that look like? All right. I put my shoes on. I'm heading out. I'm going to walk up my street and back. Yep. How do I make this work mindfully? Yeah.
So it's deciding, okay, I'm going to put my focus externally today. I'm going to just experience and explore what's around me. And then checking in, am I present? Am I feeling present? Am I in my body while I'm exploring that? There may be other days that it feels right to go a little bit more inside and just even feeling the soles of your feet on the ground. Noticing, is the tension relaxing a little bit? Bringing awareness to scattered nature and maybe feeling that kind of being brought to the center of the heart or the belly. Yeah. So it might be an internal focus, and that can bring us just as present as an external focus.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a thing called in mindfulness practice, choiceless awareness. And sometimes it's just opening yourself up and seeing what arises for you. Your commitment is to stay present, but you're not making a choice of where you're focusing your awareness. It might be the birds calling you or the wind.
Yeah. You're not like setting out a mission. I will go see a squirrel today.
No. Or take pictures of every flower that pops up.
You might see something totally different. Who knows what you're going to see? Yeah. So it's going into it with an open mind. Yeah. And saying like, whatever I'm meant to see today is what I'll see. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Oh, I love that. Okay. Are there any more?
I will say a couple of more things about this.
Yes.
What we are doing. So stress results in a ramping up of our sympathetic nervous system. This is our fight, flight, or freeze activation in our bodies, minds, all of it really gets ratcheted up. What this mindful walking can do is put the brakes on the sympathetic nervous system and increase our parasympathetic nervous system activity, which is our rest and digest functioning, we can actually feel ourselves shifting through mindful walking. We can feel ourselves putting the brakes.
Being in fight or flight for too long is what's really hurting our bodies.
That's what's happening.
So we want to switch from, you said, from fight or flight to, what was the other one?
Rest and digest.
Rest and digest. I almost
and
say
digest.
rest and restore, but rest and digest.
And rest and restore.
Okay,
as well.
and that's the healing phase of our body.
That is the healing. What we're doing is we're actually teaching our brain how to make that shift. So if it's something like mindful walking, that we're being intentional and we're bringing movement. And so our brains are associating, when I step out the door for this walk, I know I'm resetting myself. It makes it a lot easier during our day to kind of bring that image in mind. Yeah. Or if we can't get out for a walk, to do a little bit of breathing. Again, our brains are more familiar with, this is how I reset myself. Okay. Over time, it gets easier and easier. And our brain remembers.
Our body automatically knows to chillax when we go for the walk.
Chillax. That is exactly right. Chillax. We're also bringing connection. So what we're not doing when we're busy all day and unaware is we're not tuned in. We're not connected to ourselves. There's, of course, so much value in connecting with ourselves, because then we can operate from a place of full awareness.
Yeah. Yep.
But there's also a value of connecting with nature. And we know this inherently. We know how it feels when we're outside, outside of this, very false, fake environment that we live in. Yep. That connection with something larger than us, with these forces of nature, really can move us out of our head and into a better space. So just so many benefits. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is a great way, because these aging bodies, we need all the tools in the toolbox we can get. And
we can be gentle with ourselves.
Yes.
We don't have to be
guys,
marathon runners.
You don't have to train for the marathon. You're just going for a nice walk, right? And it's helping physically, mentally. It's helping all the things. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Any more tips for our mindful walk, or no? We just got to get out and do it.
We just have to get out and do it. And if you really can't get out for a walk, what I do when I have literally a 5-minute period of time between meetings, or that's just what I have, I step into my backyard, take off my shoes. I just stand on I have a little bitty, I'm in Colorado, so we have a little bitty yards, little plot of grass. Yep. I stand there. If the sun's hitting me, that's even better. But I just go outside and stand on the grass with bare feet. 5 minutes. If you
because you're out there grounding. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys. So your assignment for today, Sue's assignment for you today, is just to go take a walk. Don't worry about how far it is. Don't worry about if you have a cute enough outfit to go look like you're working out. Nobody cares. Just throw on whatever you're already wearing. Throw on whatever shoes you want. Don't go buy expensive running shoes, guys. Wear your flip-flops. We don't care. The whole point of this practice is just getting outside, walking, and clearing your mind. This is not the time for you to have a meeting on your phone while you're walking. Nope. This time is only for you. This is for you to connect with yourself, and that's it. And if you got 5 minutes, that's fine. If one day you have a whole hour, go for it. You'll be really supercharged.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sue. This has been really good. Guys, it's time to get out there and take a walk.
Have fun.
I hope you learned something today that you can implement into your life. And remember to use the links in the show notes to do your own personal deep dive into today's wellness wisdom topic. Also, please share this episode with a friend who might be looking for ways to improve their health and wellness too. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I can't wait to hit you with some more wellness wisdom next Monday. Oh, and I really can't forget the fine print again. You know, that legal jargon. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We're just two friends on this journey together, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or any other qualified professional. I know you guys get it, so I'll see you next time.